Have any of you seen the television programme called The Midwife? It covers the period in the East End of London, 1959. Well, that's where I lived, but I lived there 20 years earlier, 1933 I was born. And I've written my life history because it was very, very hard then. And it takes up 3 books, and that's the 3 books. And it's called Saturday's Child, the story of an evacuee, and it deals with the time in London before the bombing, during the bombing, and the evacuation, etc. So it covers quite a lot. In fact, it covers from the time I was born in the shop doorway when my mother was took short, right up until I was 83, 4 years ago. And but today I'm going to read you a little poem which talks about that early time. It's called Early Days, and it brings you back up to the modern day anyway. Early Days. I remember life in London before World War II. Poverty in the East End was the only life we knew. Bricks and mortar, roads and houses, nothing else in sight. No flowers in the garden, they soon gave up the fight. A family of 12 we were, though father was long gone. Mother did the best she could each day, just soldiering on. £3 per week for clothes and rent and food to feed us all. Hungrily we'd go to bed, the portions were so small. Bread and jam or fish paste, our meals 6 days a week. On Sunday we had vegetables, but never any meat. Dripping from the butcher's, Mum used to give the flavour. Those cooking smells 1 day a week was something else to savour. I grew older, life moves on. 'Twas then that I found out, although Mum gave us all she could, she often went without. I was still a little lad the day I caught Mum crying. My sister Mary in her arms, she knew Mary was dying. 4 more children passed away, for Mum was to devastation. Now with war, another 4 must join the evacuation. 3 times the bombs destroyed our home before our mother said, I'd rather evacuate my kids than see my children dead. 200 children on the train, all for evacuation. Mums with tears upon their cheeks were standing in the station. The whistle blew, the train moved out. I knew not what would come. The only memory in my mind is the memory of Mum. I sat aboard the train that day, my mind began to race. What would happen to us now? A different life we'd face. The questions tumbled through my mind, unanswered and untold. So many questions all at once, more than my mind could hold. The train journey, the billeting, our new home, everything, now lost hit there in the mist of time, a nightmare of a dream. But time moves on. I came to love the folks who care for me, and looking back, I love my home in Dorset by the sea. Miss Manuel was a spinster, no children of her own, and so she gave me all her love, worked her fingers to the bone. She took war work to feed me and paid for things I need. Nothing was too much for her, a second mum indeed. My life now changed dramatically among those fields so green. My meals were good, the food was fresh, no hunger in between. She bought the clothes, the shoes I need, the things I'd never known. She cared for me, she gave me love. Now Swire is my home. Life moves on, and in its wake are many twists and turns. I have to chase the money and the material things it earns. My home, my wife, my kids will need the best life I can give. My work took me to Bristol and the life we want to live. I think now of Miss Manuel and her home at 14 Swire. Throughout the following 50 years I had but one desire. To move my home to Dorset, to see Aunt Edith once again. She passed away before I could. That will always give me pain. Now at last I live here in the Dorset countryside, in a little village with my wife, Pam, quite near the River Bride. I feel Aunt Edith's with me, her teaching's here to stay, in the way I interact with folks I meet along the way. The postman must be on his rounds. There's a letter on the floor. The writing is unfamiliar. I've not seen that before. Maybe it's just junk mail, a circular, I guess. But it has got my name correct and it is my address. I fingered it and tried to guess what it could be about. Pam said, "You better open it or you never will find out." I eased the letter open while Pam prepared the tea. The name signed at the bottom was completely new to me. As I read the letter, the past came flooding back. The signature was John, but we had always called him Jack. Words John wrote, the memories were rolling back the years. Once more I'm with Aunt Edith, and I can't hold back the tears. John said, "Audrey and I are coming down to stay at Chesil Beach. There's a hotel there that's quite close to you and well within our reach. Can we meet up somewhere, maybe have a drink or two, and tell how life has treated us and things we used to do?" Well, we met up down at West Bay, did John Manuel and I. We took our wives in for a meal and the hours just flew by. John, Aunt Edith's nephew, now 79 years old. As we bridged the gap between the years, I watched my life unfold. Our time together over, we said we'd meet again, and reawaken times gone by with a trip down memory lane. John said, "We're coming down again, perhaps later in the year. This means I will revisit those times I hold so dear."